What's up? This is my house, bitch.
Is that it?
Yeah, I was doing like competitive sports intro.
Oh.
Not my house. First question, it's about time that I purchase a high-end camera. I've been shooting on the 5D Mark III for the last few years and would love to upgrade to a Canon C300, but everyone is saying that I should go Sony, possibly the FS7. What's your opinion? I think that's a factor of personal opinion and budget. The FS7 is a lot cheaper than the Canon C300 Mark II. However, I like the look from the C300 a lot more than you get from Sony's. The image from the Sony tends to be a little bit muddier to me, a little bit cooler. I don't like what it does to the skin tone as much as what you get from the Canon. Canon just really has their color science locked down, and a lot of my colorist friends say the exact same thing. It's just a nicer image overall. However, the FS7 is a lot cheaper. So if it's a matter of getting the FS7 and then having the extra funds to get really solid lenses, I would go that route. But if the price isn't really in consideration here, if either way you're totally fine and you can get just as good lenses with the C300, I would personally go with the C300. Want to ask why use both green screen and blue screen? I saw a lot of movies behind the scenes. During some of the scenes, they use blue screen and others they use green. There's two main things to consider. One, which is the most obvious, is what is your subject? What's in front of the screen? If you have someone that has to be wearing green or some kind of object that's green, obviously a green screen's not going to work out for you. You're going to want to go with a blue screen. In that instance, and vice versa. Usually you're going to have more blue in your subjects more often than not, rather than green. So green screen is going to be the one that's going to usually work out for you, but also with digital cameras, green works out a lot better because the blue channel in digital cameras is a lot noisier, whereas the green channel is a lot more clean, so it's easier to get a better key. Hey guys, I'm planning to make a sci-fi short film. Any tips and advice on cinematography, direction, VFX, and script of this genre? I wouldn't think of it in those terms unless you're specifically wanting to land on something to draw the audience into that genre for a reason, like we did with Ghost House and Chainsaw. We landed on those tropes on purpose, on shots that you would probably recognize from other horror films, on a look and a feel that you'll recognize from other horror films, because that was a part of the joke. If it's beyond that, if it's just an original story that I'm trying to tell, I don't think about what's the genre, okay, it has to look like this. I think about my story, I think about how I want it to feel for my audience, and I go on that. That's when you get originality. I mean, look at even 2001 Space Odyssey, how much different that was as far as a sci-fi film goes than anything that came before it. If Kubrick would have just been like, well, what are all the other sci-fis? How do those ships look? Let me do that. We wouldn't have had that complete shift in how sci-fi movies look. Now, a lot of those are copying what his film is. Some of the best stuff, most original stuff, is when people just go after what story they want to tell, what feeling they want the audience to have, and they base it all around that, not genre convention. How much leeway do you give when someone sends in an audition tape and they've changed lines or rewrites their dialogue and others in the script? That could be a warning sign, I think. It has happened to me in the past, and it did turn out that it was in fact a warning sign. But it can be good too, because you get to see what their instincts are on shifting things to make it more their own. Did they do a good job of that? Did they make it worse? If they made it worse, that tells you a lot. But either way, I would send back, hey, this is great, thanks for doing it. Can you also send with all the original lines? We'd like to see that as well. Because, I mean, it was written a specific way for a specific reason, and you want to see how they're going to deliver on that as well. And you also want to see what their attitude's going to be like with you asking that. When do you shoot over the shoulder, and when do you shoot in single shots when it comes to dialogue? That's going to be a very similar answer to the other question. It's all about what is this moment? What's being conveyed? What do you want your audience to feel like? Do you want to feel like this is a personal moment just between your audience and this character with no one in between them, and you're realizing or coming to some kind of realization with them or getting to understand them, empathize with them, and you want that just connection, then maybe I would go with a single. If you want it to feel like maybe they're closed off or you're listening to a conversation, then something over the shoulder. Obviously, there's a million reasons of why you would do one or the other. The point is, think about what you're trying to accomplish with this scene and base the decision off that. Always have a reason of why you're choosing the things you're choosing in your film, and don't base it just off of this is sci-fi, therefore this is a detective interrogating someone. Therefore, it should be based off of how do you want your audience to feel at this moment? What information are you trying to convey to them at this moment? And then base everything around that. Sometimes it's just going to be instinct. Sometimes you're going to feel like this is the right thing to do, and it's okay to follow that. Sometimes you'll be wrong with that instinct, sometimes you'll be right, but either way, that's going to be experience to help you really dial all of that in. Last question, storyboards, are they necessary? Pros and cons. I don't personally have any cons to storyboards. I do think they're necessary, not all the time. Sometimes I don't do them, but I do them more often than not, even if they're the worst scribblings ever. I think for Chainsaw, I literally storyboarded the entire thing from start to finish. I actually did an animatic of the entire thing from start to finish. I did a ton of storyboards for Ghost House. I didn't board the entire thing, but there were moments that I wanted to make sure we were going to land on how we really wanted to land on them. When you have a very finite period of time, time is money. Every hour extra that you go is more money that's going out the door, which you're robbing from post-production. It's good for me to have a solid plan in place, and often that means storyboards. Some people don't like them, that's totally fine, but I like them a lot. The only con I could think of is if you get too married to your ideas. But I mean, boards or not, you can get too married to ideas that you have in your head. You gotta always stay flexible and be totally willing to burn any idea that you had for this new one that was born on set. Working in the film industry is an exciting and rewarding experience. If you know you want to be a part of it, but you don't know where to begin, you should check out Full Sail University. Full Sail's bachelor degree program immerses you in the world of filmmaking from every angle. You'll gain hands-on experience while learning what it's like to work on a film from start to finish, giving you a feel for the role of each crew member on set. The digital cinematography online degree program merges the artistic concepts of traditional filmmaking with the technical tools used in everything from documentary filmmaking to commercial production and web video. Or maybe you already have film experience and are ready to take your skills to the next level. You can build a graduate level portfolio, all while perfecting your technique in the film graduate degree program. Full Sail grads have gone on to work on films and TV shows like Doctor Strange, Star Trek Beyond, Captain America Civil War, The Walking Dead, just to name a few. If you want to find out more about these film programs and how to get started, visit fullsail.edu/FilmRiot.
Logo.
So that's it for today, which means it's time for my suggestion of the week. This one comes from Ryan Booth. It's his new documentary. It's a really well-told story. It looks gorgeous, as usual. The editing is fantastic, and it sounds amazing. Definitely check it out. You can find a link in the notes below. And until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.